Despite Firefly's lone season still being held in such high regard over 2 decades after it ended, the 97% Rotten Tomatoes score for a more recent Alan Tudyk show puts Firefly's rating on the same website to shame. Joss Whedon's 2002 sci-fi/western space opera was cancelled even before all the episodes had a chance to hit the airwaves. Despite the show's low ratings, a sequel movie was released in 2005 called Serenity. However, even Firefly's cult following couldn't stop Serenity from flopping at the box office. Failures aside, members of the Firefly cast used the show as a platform on which to build a career, and Alan Tudyk was among the fortunate few. Tudyk has an impressive number of projects that are highly rated on Rotten Tomatoes, but one show in particular has a score that's a somewhat surprisingly high 97%. What's perhaps the most interesting is how Alan Tudyk's best movies and TV shows measure up to Firefly, one of his most revered properties among fans. Resident Alien is one of Alan Tudyk's highest-rated projects on Rotten Tomatoes. Firefly doesn't break the top 10. Resident Alien's Harry Vanderspiegel is a rare live-action role for Alan Tudyk. Alan Tudyk's role as the eccentric Harry Vanderspiegel in sci-fi's Resident Alien has contributed to the show receiving an impressive rating of 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. By comparison, Firefly's Rotten Tomatoes rating of 77% doesn't even make it into the actor's top 10 projects. In terms of cultural impact, Firefly far outweighs Resident Alien, with the latter being relatively obscure when compared to 2002's genre-defying effort from Joss Whedon. Tudyk leads the Resident Alien cast as the titular extraterrestrial, with the show already boasting 3 times as many seasons as Firefly. So, even with Resident Alien's rockier patches, its Rotten Tomatoes rating still beats Firefly's by a long way. Some of the other Alan Tudyk projects that beat Firefly's Rotten Tomatoes rating include the TV shows Harley Quinn, Devil May Care, and Doom Patrol. All 3 of these examples match or improve upon Resident Alien's 97% rating, showing how much competition Firefly has for a top 10 spot in Tudyk's working history. Resident Alien's Rotten Tomatoes score supports the "Firefly is overrated" argument. Firefly's rapid cancellation may have contributed to its legend. The high score awarded to Resident Alien is evidence that perhaps Firefly was never quite as good as fans claim. There's no doubt that Firefly's blend of sci-fi and Western elements resulted in a thoroughly innovative TV show. However, when compared with a more cohesive project like Resident Alien, Firefly just doesn't measure up. Instead of being the paragon of quality that Firefly is viewed as by many of its fans, it's more likely that the 2000s phenomenon has been sensationalized and romanticized due to it being cancelled so soon after its debut. On the other hand, Resident Alien has been renewed more than once and has continued to tell a compelling story since it premiered in 2021. Resident Alien exists in a very different branch of sci-fi to Firefly, so it's hard to compare the 2 shows fairly. That being said, the gulf in their respective Rotten Tomatoes scores speaks volumes of how much more respect Resident Alien receives than Firefly, despite the latter being elevated to almost legendary status by its dedicated following. Resident Alien proves Alan Tudyk is better in more prominent and eccentric roles. Playing Harry Vanderspiegel makes full use of Tudyk's strengths. Alan Tudyk played Hoban Washburn as part of Firefly's ensemble cast that was led by Nathan Fillion as Malcolm Mal Reynolds. Resident Alien highlights Tudyk's strengths much better than his Firefly role ever did. As Harry Vanderspiegel, Tudyk takes center stage and is afforded the opportunity to showcase his unique brand of eccentricity, even when he isn't sharing a scene with one of his Resident Alien castmates.